This is Local Edition. Brad Pomerance here in San Diego County, joined by Carrie Downey. She is a councilwoman in beautiful Coronado, California, which is next to Imperial Beach, whose both cities are next to a proposed campus for the Navy.
It's called the Navy Coastal Campus, and it is actually to house Naval Special Warfare. So the SEALs, which currently are housed at the Naval Amphibious Base in Coronado, which is part of Naval Base Coronado. I know it's confusing.
It's all important, though. So let's back up a bit. There is an organization that's known as LAFCO. Every county has one, the Local Agency Formation Commission. What does LAFCO do?
Well, LAFCO was established in 1963 under state law in California, and they're established to help establish and settle boundary disputes and the awarding of public services. And most often that came up when cities were forming from what had been previously open county areas, and so it was to figure out where's that line going to be. So if this city wants to form, how far do their borders go and how much remains under the county?
And even today there are areas that are unincorporated that may be annexed, and so LAFCO will be part of that process.
Yes.
So Coronado is a very old city.
Yes, it is. We celebrated 125 years, our anniversary last year in 2015.
And Imperial Beach is a newer city.
Yes, they are. Imperial Beach was incorporated in 1956.
Okay, so we have those dates in mind. Then let's move to what happened. Was it in the 60s where the Navy needed to get sewer service to an area? We didn't know where it was. That was part of the problem. Was it under Coronado? Was it under Imperial Beach?
Well, actually, Coronado knew it was under Coronado.
There you have it.
But part of it is, if I can go back a little further, the history is when Coronado was originally established, our city limits did not at establishment include what we all know as Silver Strand. But that was added to the city of Coronado's jurisdiction, and it was annexed in 1950. So before Imperial Beach was established, so as we talked about, areas were taken out of county and established. So Coronado's village then extended to what we know as the Silver Strand, and part of that is the land we're talking about that was under federal jurisdiction, and that's the other agency you need to keep in mind. Coronado, the city limits of Coronado has what was the Naval Air Station North Island, and that's all federal jurisdiction. Also the Naval Amphibious Base Coronado, which was also federal jurisdiction. And now it will have the Navy Coastal Campus, which is, again, federal jurisdiction at the very end where it touches Imperial Beach. And that's the dispute. It's the exact border between Coronado here and Imperial Beach here.
But as a result of a smaller project that has since been mothballed.
That's correct.
How did Imperial Beach get involved in the sewer system?
In 1967, when the Navy established that part of federal installations to house, and at that time, the Navy Radio Receiving Facility is what it was called, and it had literally a radio facility. It also had 3, I'll call them housing units, but small buildings that would house people that were going to man this studio, and it also then had facilities, sewer facilities to accommodate that need. But it was very small. It was literally 3 houses plus the Welland-Weber radar. And at that time, they had to get sewer service somehow when they were constructing in 67. And since they literally bordered that Imperial Beach at that end, and the Silver Strand at that time, in their mind, was so far away to get up to Coronado, to our sewer system, they just asked the neighbor, would you mind providing sewer for these 3 homes? But
the homes were in Coronado.
They
were not in Imperial Beach.
And they did not ask the city of Coronado for permission to do this. Imperial Beach didn't ask the city of Coronado. To be honest, it was during the Vietnam War. And so the federal government asked, and a lot was going on, and Imperial Beach said the country needs to do this. So, okay, we will.
Of course.
And it was very small at the time. There wasn't any thought it was going to be bigger than what it was.
So fast forward, that project gets mothballed, but now where that project was, the Navy wants to expand this campus, and they need sewer service. In Coronado. But what they are saying is, well, wait a sec, we have a little sewer service underground where that old radio facility was. It came from Imperial Beach. We know we're not in Imperial Beach, but let's just extend that and we'll be fine.
Yes, that's exactly what happened. The Coastal Campus Project is a very large building effort. It was actually Congress's idea to grant a large sum of money, and the Navy was concerned. They wanted to get it completed. They wanted to have everything reviewed. So during the environmental impact statement, they showed plans, and Coronado went, "Oh, that's our
Right.
land. You need to come to us." We filed those comments, and unfortunately the Navy has interpreted it differently and said that original contract they had, which they can't locate the original copy of, nobody can at the moment, but there was an extension of it that people have that said that Imperial Beach agrees to provide the Navy such that it would need for this project, the
But
original 1967 project.
Not the 2016 project,
And
the
in-
Coastal Campus.
Absolutely. The radio receiving facility officially closed in 1999. As part of the Coastal Campus project, the military got permission to demolish most of what was left and leave just a little bit for the historic value that the
Interesting.
radio receiving
Right.
facility had, but everything else is gone.
See, what's so tricky here is if this was a dispute between Coronado and Imperial Beach, it would seem like, okay, we'll have LAFCO decide it, but you got the federal government involved. And so it makes it even more complicated.
It is very complicated.
So what is LAFCO saying?
Well, the City of Coronado went to LAFCO and pointed out that even though LAFCO was formed, as I mentioned, in 1963, it was prior to the original decision for the radio receiving facility. And at that time, Imperial Beach had never sought permission to use municipal services.
Okay.
And they should have done it back then. So we raised it now. This is a new project. This is not that old project.
Right.
So LAFCO, you've got two cities that are having a dispute over who provides municipal services. We said, LAFCO, you need to adjudicate this.
And what are they saying?
And LAFCO says, no, they don't, because under the law, there is an exception if there's an existing contract to provide services.
But that's the question.
That's the
Is there an
question.
existing contract?
That's correct.
Let's back up. Why does Coronado want to be able to provide the services? Is there a financial benefit, which is not nefarious? Just, why?
There is a financial benefit, but that is not the motivator. The motivator is it's local control of area within our jurisdiction.
Fair enough.
This is 11% of the square footage within our city limits.
Okay.
And there have been times in the past when the City of Imperial Beach and or developers within the City of Imperial Beach have looked to use that land under a lease with the federal government for a golf course and housing. So we know prime real estate, at some point the Navy may decide they don't want to use that base, and a BRAC may happen since there are 3 bases within
Sure.
Coronado. And we want to make sure that that land is recognized as belonging under the jurisdiction of the City of Coronado.
And I guess if you do have Imperial Beach providing services, it can start, it's like the imprimatur of adverse possession. That is
exactly
I remember my law
correct.
school days.
Well, and the people don't understand how big this coastal campus is. It's the equivalent of a 720 house development.
So where do you
That's-
go from here? Lawsuits?
Well, at this point, nobody has filed a lawsuit. What we have requested is that LAFCO had delayed. We wanted them to delay their decision while we continued to negotiate, because the City of Coronado has said we don't want to stop the project.
Of
That's
course.
the argument. People saying we want to stop the coastal campus. No, we don't.
Right.
It actually would benefit some of our citizens. Some of the traffic that now traipses through to get to us would be better
Right.
over in Imperial Beach.
You have to come back because I want to hear the end, the epilogue. I want to hear what happens in the final analysis. Her name is Carrie Downey. She is, can I say a nerd like me? We love
You
this
can,
stuff.
public policy nerd.
Exactly. She is a councilwoman in Coronado. My name is Brad Pomerance. You're watching Local Edition.